What's going on, good people? Kyron here.
Rachel here. Welcome back to the Culture Garden Podcast.
It's a government name week. It's a government name week, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Episode 113, Rachel.
Crazy.
Moving along these things, man. We appreciate y'all patience. We normally take a quarterly break. We took it last week instead of this week. So we're dropping an episode. And then, we're going to have some episodes of school, all that kind of good stuff, man. Rachel is holding it down over on We Got Y'all. Some of our best work, some of my favorite work that I've been a part of, obviously, usually involves Rachel. And we're having a good time talking about Raising Canaan
For
and
sure.
an interesting time talking about the White Lotus.
For sure.
So both of those are going on at the same time, which is, taking a little bit extra break here and there and just kind of put some episodes out for you still. But check out the We Got Y'all feed. Please make sure you're subscribed. If you're subscribed to our YouTube page, then they'll automatically come up. But the audio feed is separate, so keep that in mind. Write us as well. Please share your comments. We will include you in the episode. There will be spoilers and explicit content. And today's film, we are discussing Men of Honor.
Yeah.
Came out in 2000, I believe. Yeah, we'll talk about the stats, but Men of Honor and the synopsis. Carl Brashear is an ambitious sharecropper who joins the U.S. Navy to become the world's first black master diver. But as he works through diving training, the racist Master Chief sets out to make Carl's journey as difficult as possible. Rachel, this is my week to choose.
Yes.
Why did I go with Men of Honor? All right. For one, it's one of those films from my adolescence that I just always rocked with from the first time I saw it. I talk often about Finding Forrester, my adoration for that film. Men of Honor was one of the, not in the same way, but Men of Honor was always, as soon as I saw it, I knew, okay, this is a dope story. Pops owned it, so I was able to watch it in real time on DVD. It's funny because as I'm watching it on, and I didn't even mention, this is not streaming anywhere. So you do have to rent it. I think you can rent it for $3.99 or buy it for $4.99.
Yeah.
Might as well buy it for that case. It's worth the $4.99, trust me. But as the opening credits were lining up, what a cast, right?
For
Even
sure.
for the year 2000s, what a cast. Like, what's going
For
on?
sure.
And that star power always stuck with me, and we'll talk about it. Was it necessary? I have thoughts on that, especially when we get to things about him. But you got 3 Oscar winners and 2 Oscar nominees. The winners were Cuba Gooding Jr., Robert De Niro, and Charlize Theron. And obviously, Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor and Hal Holbrook were the nominees. So it had a who's who of casting. Another reason I picked this is because this is the Black history that I want to learn about, Rachel.
Okay.
All due respect to your films like 12 Years a Slave, The Help, things of that nature, The Butler. Like, I want to learn more about some of the Black figures that we have that have just interesting stories, just regular people. Not necessarily in all your history books, but these are people who really lived. They have a fascinating story. I think people should know about it. I'll talk a little bit more in the origin about this. I don't want to say that as those other stories don't need to be told or don't deserve to be told. I'm not saying it like that. I want to ask you, do I want to ask you this question now? I'll save it. I have a question for you about those type of movies.
Okay.
But Hollywood tends to tell those stories in a very specific way.
For sure.
I think that's part of the issue with it. But I want to learn about Carl Bashir. I want to learn about Jerry Lawson, who is the father of modern gaming. You can look him up. I just saw news about a film being in production about the first Black Secret Service agent. Like, I want to learn about that stuff, not necessarily your typical Oscar draw because we're talking about Black trauma and Black poverty and whatever the case may be. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up. If people don't or haven't heard of Carl Bashir or haven't seen Men of Honor, A, incredible acting. So if you're a fan of acting, this is a movie for you. And B, just an interesting story. Helps you do your own deep dive in it. Whoa.
Well, pun, because we're talking about diving.
There we go. Yeah, pun. Yes. There we go. There you go, Rachel. You're on top of it. I'm going to get into some stats and awards and the cast before we get into like our main conversation. The film was released in theaters November 10th, 2000. Directed by George Tillman Jr. We've already covered one of his films, which was Soul Food, same director. He also directed Notorious, The Hate You Give. Big George Foreman, man. R.I.P. George Foreman.
R.I.P. George Foreman.
Who we recently lost this past week, man. He directed the Big George Foreman movie. He also directed 3 episodes of This Is Us and 3 episodes of The Original Power. Written by Scott Marshall Smith, had a budget of an estimated $32 million and made $82.3 million worldwide, Rachel.
Period.
$13.3 million the opening weekend. Opened up at number 3 in the box office behind Charlie's Angels and Little Nicky. Top 5 was rounded out by Meet the Parents and Red Planet. Robert De Niro had 2 top 5 movies at the same time. Meet the Parents actually was in its 6th week of release and still opened up at number 4. Wow. So that just lets you know we'll cover that one day just because that's one of those movies I enjoy. But Meet the Parents was a real big thing in 2000 when it came out. It's crazy to think that movie's about to be 25 years old.
Crazy.
Men of Honor was in theater for 17 weeks and stayed in the top 10 for 4 of those weeks. And as I mentioned, not streaming at the moment. As far as awards go, 11 nominations, 0 wins. BET Awards, Best Actor for Cuba Gooding Jr. NAACP Image Awards, nominated for Outstanding Motion Picture, Outstanding Actor for Cuba, and Outstanding Supporting Actress, Aunjanue Ellis Taylor. And then, of course, our folk, our good people, Black Reel Awards.
For sure.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was nominated for Best Actor. It was nominated for Best Screenplay as well as Best Film. All right.
You said Cuba 0 wins?
0 wins, 11 nominations. Didn't win anything. Kind of wild, right? Kind of wild.
Insane in the membrane.
Insane in the membrane. Let's talk about that star-studded cast. Cuba Gooding Jr. is Carl Brashear. It's funny he got that role because I can't remember if it was the writer or the director. The real Carl Brashear, I think the writer had a day to spend with him, and maybe 72 hours to spend with him. And I guess in his house, he had this space called the Room of Me. So it's like all his accolades and pictures of famous people and stuff. And he saw a picture of young Carl Brashear. I was like, damn, he looked like Cuba Gooding Jr. And that's how he ended up getting cast, because they had a very striking resemblance. Robert De Niro as Billy Sunday. Just want to let it be known, Billy Sunday is not a real person. It was kind of a combination of 2 people in Carl Brashear's life. So it is a fictional character. You have Aunjanue Ellis Taylor as Joe, Charlize Theron as Gwen Sunday, Carl Lumbly as Mac, which is Carl's father. He's in the new Captain America film, so he's in the MCU. If you recognize him from somewhere, he was also the judge in How Stella Got a Groove Back. So you've seen his face before. Lynette McKee as Ella, who is Carl's mother. You also have the legend Glenn Turman as Chief Floyd, and Michael Rappaport as whatever he was. What was his name? I thought I wrote it down.
Snow Hill.
Thank you, Snow Hill. I knew it. Thank you, Snow Hill. Movie Poster Hall of Fame, Rachel. Is it in it?
No.
Yeah, we've been on a cold streak. We haven't had really a classic movie poster in quite some time. Classic or not?
Absolutely, 1000%. Men of Honor is a classic. It is culturally relevant. It is criminally underrated. The fact that you said 11 nominations and 0 wins, I was gobsmacked by that, because Men of Honor is one of my favorite, dare I say, historical films or Black movies,
Absolutely. One of my favorite Black stories, and as I mentioned, the acting in it, like we'll talk about Cuba, but De Niro smoked this. Like, he smoked this role. Sure. And this might sound odd when I say it. Very authentic. I mentioned earlier about like that Hollywood and the way they make certain movies. It felt like this is how he would have been treated in this time, and there wasn't any extra on it. Like, nigga, we don't like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just didn't have that typical Hollywood feel, such as, I don't know, the way a Disney movie would try to talk about race relations. It was more so, we're just gonna smack you with it, and this is what it is.
Now hold on now, because Disney did a good job with what was it, The Color of Us, The Color Circle, about the girl from South Africa.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So what I mean is, and
Old Disney.
well, here's what I mean. Go back for all of you out there. Go back on YouTube and look for the trailer for Remember the Titans,
Mm-hmm.
and then watch the movie. We'll have that conversation whenever we cover that movie one day. It's just interesting how they
Oh,
go.
I don't know what you about to say because I love
No, no,
Remember.
no, nothing bad. I have nothing bad to
Okay.
say about Remember the Titans at all. It just sometimes you can get things in a cookie cutter way, in a PG way, a PG-13 way. That's what I'm trying to say. And this is an R-rated film, and they kind of dove into it, and it didn't seem extra. Sometimes some of these films seem extra, and it was just like, nah, this is how it was in 1943. And if you might even say, some might argue it wasn't enough.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I have a hard time. I'm gonna watch what I say, but I have a hard time putting the term quote unquote extra on specifically um biographical or autobiographical historical movies when we look at the context of this is Culture Garden. I'm for the culture. Y'all know the Black studies. This and I got all the pink. Very much Black studies. Um, the horrors of slavery, Jim Crow, racism in America, as bad as the things that you've seen as quote unquote over the top, is still skimming the surface of the horrors of what we experienced as a people.
Facts.
So I can't say that it's doing too much. It might be hard to watch, but when you watch things in the contextual understanding that these are people who were eating us, it's never too much because that, see, I'm about to be on my soapbox. That is why they are going through such great strengths and lengths to get this history out of books, to make it illegal, to teach the realities of the horrors that we experience. Great migration did not happen just because people wanted to live in the snow-laden north. Black families were escaping the horrors of the Jim Crow South. They are escaping
Facts.
the lynchings and castrations and whatnot. So when we're looking at Men of Honor, how most of the Black soldiers were cooks and shoe shine boys and treated unfairly. We understand why many soldiers decided to stay in Europe, because they did not want to come back to the horrors of America and not be looked at as men and not be able to take care of their families and not get the GI bills they were promised, not be able to get the homes that they were promised for serving in this country.
Very well said.
Okay. So,
Very well said.
all right.
I was I want to
Sorry.
correct it to show. Nah, you good. Nah, perfect. Nah, that was actually perfect because had you not said that, it wouldn't have given an opportunity to make sure that what's being said is clear.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right.
Hmm.
Um, and that's always a reminder for me to make sure I'm very intentional with my words,
For sure.
because I'm speaking from the movie magic side of things, not the
For sure.
actual horrors.
Got it.
Which is
Got
why before you started, I even stopped
it.
myself and said, actually, you could say they didn't go far enough because we
Yeah.
know this movie's not. There was a lot more they could have done. Actually, there's a deleted scene. There's a deleted scene for Men of Honor. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not. Like I said, I have the DVD where I don't know why. I don't know if there was a dog race or what was going on, but Pappy had a dog, and Carl was carrying the dog. Right? It was like a group event, and it feels weird and out of place because everybody was like kind of chummy,
Hmm.
and we weren't at the part of the film yet where people were actually fucking with Carl. They never really fucked with Carl. It was more of a you gotta respect this. But whatever it was, the reward was, I'm assuming, hey, if you get these dogs, you guys get a free night out or a
Hmm.
weekend or whatever the case is. Carl's holding Pappy's dog, and Pappy's the dude at the top of the tower. He tells him to put the dog down, orders the white soldier that ended up leaving because he
Mhm.
was like, man, I'm out of here. I can't do this. Ordered him to clean the dog with lime. Or lie. Excuse me, not lie. Lie. I'm not going to go into the whole dot. Huh?
So the dog is burning.
Yeah, they don't show it. So if you don't know what lie is, do your Googles. He was so disgusted that this black man touched my dog. I will tell you to clean it with lye. And remember, he had it like a phobia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes OCD, when it comes to being clean,
Mm-hmm.
that black man touched it. Hell nah, ain't no way he coming back in my crib unless you doubt. Might as well throw the whole dog away and get a new one. So that's just kind of one of those things that shows the extent of the racism without being overt about it. But you were
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. What you said is correct. They
Yeah,
could have taken it more, but then it would have been a whole different movie
for
and
sure.
a
For
whole
sure.
thing.
It was just
Um, yeah, just enough, just enough. So just a little bit about Carl Maxey Brashear in real life. He was child number 6 of 16. My
Woo,
goodness.
my lord.
Um, obviously, you saw that he was in Kentucky. He passed in 2006, so 6 years after this film. And
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because at the end of the film, it says that he retired in 1979. My man did not get back in the water. They asked him, like, yo, you still go diving? Like, hell no, I ain't been in the water since 1979. I'm retired. I ain't
Mm-mm.
doing that no more. A lot of what happened in the film was true. And I mentioned about Sunday being based on two people in Carl's life. Married and divorced 3 times. Obviously, the film didn't get into all of that, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the actual film itself, so this first draft of this was written in 1994.
Okay.
I believe the writer got a hold of this story and said, "Man, this is actually an interesting story. And I want to turn this into something." Um, Handed the script in 1995, and ironically enough, or not ironically at the time, but now he has a black mark of shame over his name. A big reason why this film was made, and actually a contributing factor, I think that he gets full credit for the film being made, was Bill Cosby. Bill
Mm.
Cosby saw this story and really wanted to make sure it got made, and the story was out there. Like I said, we know about Bill Cosby now, so it is what it is. I want to ask you about your first experiences, and then I want to ask you this question that I have.
Okay.
What were your first experiences with the film? Do you remember your first time watching it?
Yeah, at home. I know I didn't see this in the theaters. First time watching it at home, probably on like TBS or something. Full commercials, not even on a premium channel special.
Yeah. I feel like I saw this in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have vivid memories of seeing this the first time. Not that vivid because I can't remember where, but I remember being young. I saw it in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just can't remember exactly if it was in the theaters or not, but it is one of those films, as I said at the beginning, as first watch, I was hooked. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to learn more, and I just was fascinated by the story. And there were those scenes in this film. We'll talk about it when we get to it. Just scenes that stand out to you. It had been years, Rachel. This is one of those movies where I watched it. I can't tell you how many times between the years 2000 and 2006, and then probably haven't watched it maybe once or twice since 2010. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't watched it a lot, so it was. But some of those scenes I'll never forget because they were just, to me, iconic at the time. It just always
Yeah.
stood out. Which leads me to my question. I mentioned I hadn't watched it in quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
so this is like fresh eyes, other than a few moments. And I realized something at 38 years old, Rachel, that I
Yes.
didn't realize at 13, 18, 21. This is a white savior movie. Would you agree? And I want to be careful with this. Once again, Rachel's teaching all of us to be intentional with our words. I do not want to downplay Carl Bashir in his life. This is a
Mm-hmm.
movie about Carl Bashir. So I don't want to take away the story that we get and minimize it or
Mm-hmm.
minimize it. But I'm looking at different things and I'm like, yo, this low key and white writer. Just saying, white writer telling a story about a black man. It feels like a white savior movie in a lot of different areas. And I didn't know if I was tripping or if you see the same thing.
I understand how you got there.
Yeah.
And I think that we not necessarily didn't have the language in 2000, but that's not what we said. That wasn't the language that we used. So I'm not at all surprised you didn't see it. I hate to put it in that category, but I can see how you got there. Especially in learning that Chief Billy Sunday was not a one real singular person.
That's the main reason why I went with this. If Billy
Mhm.
Sunday was a real person
Yeah,
versus a combination, I probably would
mhm,
feel a little bit different.
for sure.
Knowing that you made this terrible man in the film
Mhm.
kind of the reason why Carl, or a large contributing factor as to how he got to where he got, I was just kind of like, eh. And like I said, this is years of living, right? This is me at 38. Like, it's not egregious, right? I want to make sure that I say this. It's not
Mhm.
egregious like The Blind Side. We've joked about The Blind Side.
For
If you
sure.
go, which I,
Which I
unfortunately, I
still
still
love
fuck with it. I still fuck with The Blind Side. That is going to be an entertaining episode whenever we get to it.
for sure.
But that's an egregious movie. I don't know the last time y'all watched it. Watch it. You were gonna laugh out loud at how
For sure.
fucking white saviorish that is. I think it falls under the hardball sense of things, where hardball is like widely loved in our community, but it is a white savior film. Now, do I think that they were at home writing this movie with the intent of saying, "Hey, we're gonna save this"? But no, I don't think that was the case. I just think it unintentionally happened, and I think that's a big reason why it's important for um black voices need to be in the room when you're writing about black people.
1000%. 1000%. I'm going to ask you a question because I don't know if I put hardball in a white savior. I understand how you got there. Do
It,
you think that regular ass white people with their own struggles and triumph story, which I do think more so for hardball, do you think they can coexist in a black space, in a black film? Because the reality is in hardball, Coach was a fucking alcoholic gambling addict with a fucked up ass life. And I feel like he was just as much impacted and saved by the kids as they were him, taking them to their first game. But he was fucked up.
which is why I put that in the category of this. And I'm not necessarily calling them. It's just something I'm not calling Men of Honor or Hardball white saviors specifically. All I'm saying is at this age, I'm seeing now that this could be in a contention. This is worth the conversation.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not a blind side where it's egregious and it's there,
Yeah.
and that's why I've loved Men of Honor for years and I've
Mhm.
not once thought that until I did the rewatch for this.
Yeah.
So it was the first time it dawned on me. And Hardball, I never would even. I don't say it is. I personally don't. However, I have seen people say that
Okay.
Hardball is a white savior movie, right?
Okay.
Hardball, low key, is Mighty Ducks, except for black kids instead of a mixed group of kids. When you
That's
sit
it.
down and think about it, like
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, Coach Bombay, DUI, community service, help
Mhm.
these ragtag kids. You coach them up to be champions.
But
Same
see, you don't
thing,
consider Mighty Ducks a white savior
because
because
there's
it was
not
a mixed group
a
of
group of
kids.
black kids. Exactly. And that's why. So that's why I take Hardball out of that category,
Okay.
because I think that you made the perfect point. They
Mhm.
saved him as much as he saved them,
Yeah,
right? They were still going to be doing what they needed to do anyway.
for sure.
Hardball is a little bit different, but Blindside, let me ask you about this. Criminal Minds, or not Criminal Minds, Dangerous Minds. What do you think about that?
Shout out to Michelle Pfeiffer. I can go Dangerous Minds, White Savior. I could go Freedom
I
Riders.
was just about to ask you Freedom Riders. You know what I mean? Like I don't,
Yeah.
and once again, not to cape for
Mhm.
white folk. I do not sit here and think, hey, they're in this room writing this movie saying we're gonna save these black kids. I don't think
For
it's like
sure.
that. I just think they just don't know. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you just be so aloof and unaware that you
Yeah.
just writing shit, and then it takes for somebody to look at it, yo, you bugging. This is
What's
kind of
going
wild. Yeah. And I think, but on the flip side, the
Mhm.
blind side, I think they 1,000% knew what they were doing when they wrote that film, and they knew they wanted it to be a white savior movie.
Well, I'm gonna take half of that because so much of that is based off of Leanne Tui, allegedly based off of Leanne Tui's book. So that's her own white savior complex in this, that, and the
Fair.
third that Hollywood took and ran with and only multiplied it from there because that shit is fucking crazy. And
So
I
it is
don't think that I don't
wow.
know if Michael Orr fucks with them. I mean, I know he recently sued
No.
them. I would say I know it was a recent suing, but even when he was playing for the Panthers, I don't know if that relationship how sullied it was at that time, but I know that that is when it started coming out like all the money that he felt like he was owed from them and them
Yeah,
getting
and
over essentially.
yeah, shout out to Michael Orr, man. That's a fascinating story. Hopefully he's doing well. I know when he won the Super Bowl in 2012 with the Ravens,
Hmm.
I believe there were photos of the family
They were
at
they
like
were
on the
around back
field.
then.
They
Yeah,
were around back then, but I also remember because I think Blindside came out in '09,
sure.
'09, 2010. Definitely '09. I remember him saying, I
He
don't
ain't fuck
fuck with
with
that
it.
because he ain't
Yeah.
fuck with that. Like he didn't bash the family, but he did say, I don't fuck with that movie like that. And
Because
that's
it had, which
embarrassing.
is
What's
crazy. Because it said he
yeah,
had never
like
played football before, as to which he had. They had him acting totally aloof
yeah,
again.
yeah. Touched. And
Yeah,
Michael
for
was
sure.
smart. He was smart. Like
For sure.
he's yeah. Anyway, we
Anyway.
talked a little bit of. It's funny. I don't know how randomly. I always remember this. We had a blindside conversation when we did Mo Better Blues.
Hmm.
I don't know what led to it or how we even started talking about. Oh, because the Michael Orr news that came out.
Oh,
And
okay.
we ended up talking about it. That's when he first sued them, and we were just randomly
Got
talking
it.
about that they were
Got it.
recording it. But either way, I was just curious because, like I said, it's funny how you watch a movie plenty of times, and then one day all of a sudden you look at it different.
For
And I just
sure.
wanted to see what your thoughts were on it. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it, Rachel.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about best scenes. It's my film. I'll kick it off.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know why we do this anymore. We started at the intro. I enjoy kind of being dropped into things where you see Chief Billy Sunday fucked up
Hmm. Hmm.
and detained, watching television,
Hmm.
bruised and beaten. We see that he recognized Carl, and we see him handle business once um, somebody makes a remark about Carl, right? Headbutts him. Obviously, as we learn later in the film, it's not because Billy Sunday's a great guy and he hates racism. It's because there's something to be said when, regardless of who you are, where you come from, your background, your nationality,
Hmm.
when there's only a few people in the world that can do this, you throw out that all the you throw all that out the window, and you have a certain respect for them.
For
Like,
sure.
how dare you make fun of somebody when you wouldn't even survive a second? You don't know what we do. We share that bond
For sure.
all together, and that's just kind of what it comes down to. Um, Only a few people know what it's like to put your life on the line in a real way, in a
Hmm.
real way,
Hmm.
right? And it's not to be mocked by some peon like you.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate that we get that. And then I don't know if this is your next scene, but it's kind of the intro still. That scene where we get young Carl transforming into older Carl. You have
Okay.
that in your list?
I don't.
Okay, so I'll just wrap up the intro with this.
Hmm.
That scene with the dad all the way up until he leaves. So
Yes.
we know Carl's a sharecropper. We know he's died when we
Open.
see all of that.
Hmm.
You said what?
Opening.
Opening, yes, opening. There we go.
Uh-huh.
Make me a promise, right? His dad telling him this. Make me a promise. Don't end up like me. Also tells him, don't ever come back here. You go out and fight. Don't take promises. Bust their old rules if you have to. And when it get hard, and it will get hard, don't quit on me. Ever. Those lines were the foundation of who we see in the character of Carl, in the real life of Carl, throughout this film. All right, it's really that simple. If you want to know why Carl is so determined in late 1940s, early 1950 America as a black man to keep going and pushing through, that is why.
For sure.
We later get a scene with him and Billy Sunday and him asking, like, what did he say to you to make you try so hard? Like, to make you keep going. And that's the moment we get it, right? That's the motivation for Carl in life. Um, Also, the community of everyone helping plow that land.
Hmm.
Like, we all going to show
Well,
up
shit, now
together.
we know that they the brothers and sisters. There's 16 of them.
Right. I know, right? I don't know who it was. They didn't really signify, but they made it seem like it was only him. And then, of course, the radio.
Yeah,
In those times, just in a sense, I'm giving you all I have. Like, this is probably my prized possession, this
that's
radio, and
it.
I want you to have it. That just
That's it.
means a lot. And we see the ASNF on the side of it. Just kind of gets you a real big. Those two scenes combined. I know who Billy Sunday is, low key, a little bit, and I also know who Carl is just from this.
Yeah.
He's on his way onto some shit. So the opening, that's what I got. What's your next scene, Rachel?
In my opening, I do have Carl at the as a cook, him arriving at camp period on his first assignment. Um arriving as a cook, learning that that is what people were doing in shoe shining, and him sort of having the balls to say, you know what? No, I'm going for a fucking swim today, you know. And
Hey,
not
I'm hot
only
on
am I
Friday.
going to swim, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna race the fastest and I'm going to fucking win. And we saw Carl do just that, which is how he ends up in diver camp, because he broke the rules, busted up the rules of
Mm-hmm.
going up on deck on a white day, because again, segregation in the armed forces back then.
Mm-hmm.
So he breaks the rules. He goes on deck on the wrong day. I think it's Tuesday. And he's like, fuck it, it's hot. I've been down here sweating bullets. I'm going for a swim. And he does, and he wins. And while he's, I don't want to say jailed, but while he's jailed on the ship, they
Mm-hmm.
say, you know what, instead of us putting you in the hole, we actually are going to send you
Search
um
and rescue.
to search and rescue. And this is where he decides that he wants to essentially be partially decides he wants to be a master diver. And I think also in that intro, it's just Sunday, him being demoted in that first few scenes, not just because of the
Mm-hmm.
fight, but him losing the status, which is a theme of the movie. Is Sunday is fucked up. Like he started off up here, and just throughout the movie, every time you see him, he's being demoted for throwing
Mm-hmm.
hands, essentially.
Yep. And we also meet Hanks, Lieutenant
Yeah,
Hanks, at the same time.
for sure.
And just going back to the swim, I said it in the intro. Exceptional talent. You can't ignore it.
For sure.
All right. I'm showing y'all I'm faster than everybody out here. You got
For
to
sure.
move me somewhere. You know what I mean? Um, Carl reports for duty.
Yeah.
That's my next scene.
Mhm.
So, wrote over 100 letters. Definition of perseverance.
For sure.
Y'all not going to tell me no. I'm here to report for duty. Pappy says, do not let that nigga in.
Yeah.
Right? He is to wait outside. We see the first interaction and really the introduction. Even
Mhm.
though we seen them in a scene together, they didn't speak.
Yeah.
See the first real interaction between Chief Sunday and Carl. What's for child, Cookie? Calling this man Cookie, disrespecting him. There's no way you're here for diving class. You have to
For
be here to
sure.
cook, to
For
shine
sure.
shoes, to do something else.
Again,
Because I
because
know
they're the black jobs.
those are the black jobs, right? 100 letters for admission. Carl stayed outside all night.
Mhm.
When it's so easy to just say, you know what, fuck this. They're gonna play me. It's gonna be some bullshit when I get in here. Nah, man, I ain't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah.
Stay out here all night. Finds a similarity between him and Chief Sunday. Looks at his hands and talks about, riding or plowing fields with mules, driving mules. This is gonna come back later, obviously. But as Chief Sunday said, beware what you wish for. You want to come on in? Bet. I'm gonna haze the shit out of your ass.
For
But
sure.
you can come on in here. We're gonna see what's what. So
Mm.
that interaction is definitely one that I always had down in my scenes. What's your next scene, Rachel?
For sure. I had that too. My next is kind of a ways away.
Well, let me just mention this then, because I know this is kind of directly after. My next
Mhm.
scene was, as I just mentioned, Carl making that comparison, thinking that they're one of the same or lived a similar life, led to the training scene
Yeah.
that we have with Chief Sunday and Carl.
Mhm.
Don't ever fix your lips to say that we're the same person or we have
Yep.
similar backgrounds. Are you fucking crazy? I'm gonna throw this water on you, wake you up. I'm dragging your ass. I'm dog walking your shit around this
Mhm.
training facility while also gaming you and teaching you. but just
Yeah.
kind of letting you know this is what's in store for you.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it's gonna be every time we meet. Maybe not to this degree, but I'm gonna put you through the ringer if you really want to be a diver. Not even a master diver, just a regular ass diver.
That's
Right?
it.
This is an impossible mission. I'm dunking you in the water. Snow Hill, get your ass back to bed. You can get the fuck up out of here too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my dad, we also learned my dad lost business to people like you. Seeing your black face
Mm-hmm.
do it for cheaper and
Mm-hmm.
watching my dad get turned away.
Yeah.
It's up. I got beef. And like I said, for you to even compare yourself to me, we ain't doing that. And I'm a master diver. Put some respect on my shit. For everything we know about Carl, we're rooting for Carl. He's a
Mhm.
protagonist. We get that. We don't fuck with Billy Sunday.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about don't walk through this door thinking you me, and these stripes ain't easy. It takes years and years and years to get them. And yes, you have the potential, but don't
Mm-hmm.
get so familiar, right? Rachel and myself are part of Greek letter organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And we can tell you in our college years, the one way to kind of have us turn off, like,
Mm-hmm.
don't come up like you a part of my organization. You ain't a part of my organization. Don't get too familiar. We can be cool. Don't get me wrong. We can be cool, but it's just a respect that goes with it,
For sure.
right?
For
I
sure.
am in this organization. You're not. Just don't get too familiar. Don't put too much dip on your chip, and that's all it is. And that was his reminder, not so
For
subtle,
sure.
but letting him know, nigga, you ain't this.
Did you take it? And it sounds like you did. As Carl, thinking that they were so much alike. I thought that it was just a basic similarity. Like, look, I see that you also have worked. Here I am. I'm coming. I'm not comparing us because we know, especially then, you could be poor, but if a black person dare have more than you or dare, you know what I'm saying? We know that that was just
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So I'm curious to that. Is it just extra hazing, or do you really feel like Carl had too much dip on his chip?
So this is the era
Hmm.
of keep your head down. Yes, so no, yes, sir, no, sir.
Hmm.
And I think when you consider the era, right, you
Yeah,
consider that time.
yeah,
I think that Chief Sunday, for all that he's accomplished, like I said, biggest dickhead in the world. However, the man's got some he's got some notches under his belt
for
when it comes
sure,
to accomplishments.
for sure.
I think he took it as disrespect. I don't think Carl meant anything by it other than I see you.
Yeah,
I see you. And regardless of my skin color, regardless of anything else, I bet you nobody else here at this training base or at
hmm,
this base camp has ever pointed out or noticed your hands.
for
I
sure,
bet nobody else here even knows what that is.
for sure.
I do.
Hmm. Hmm.
So before you go starting to hate me, we have more in common than you think, and that disgusted Chief Sunday
For
because he
sure,
was right.
for
Because
sure.
that's why I discussed him because he was right,
Yeah,
not because
yeah.
you out of line. You right, and I don't
Okay,
like that you right. So fuck
okay.
you, and I'm really gonna make it hard for you. And over time, obviously, we get the respect. But yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Okay. Love that. We didn't talk about it, but also once he got to the I don't want to where's my mind? To his rooming, to his dorm, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else leaving except for Snow Hill from Wisconsin. I don't give Michael Rappaport too much, but shout out to
Yeah,
that.
how about this? That's why I say earlier when I say who we played, whatever, man. Michael Rappaport,
Yeah.
whatever.
My scene is actually Sunday in Snow Hill when Sunday is pressing Snow Hill about being able to hold his breath for 4 minutes underwater.
Okay, so I got one quick scene before that.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
The welding exercise. It's just a
Yeah,
big
go ahead.
plot into the
Uh-huh.
story. Just once again, letting you know what this time was like, right? You
Mhm.
had two divers welding a ship for an exercise. Icer has his air hose tangled. And I love how the film does this, right? They teach you things.
That's before that?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's before it. Yeah, that's
okay.
before it. Because I remember, the only reason I remember for sure is because old dude that left had the nerve to pull up on Carl at the bar. Like, nigga, you got a medal for the shit I just did. Get the fuck out of my face. You can't ever say nothing to me ever again in your life.
Okay. I got that. I must have them out of order. Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
do you have that scene?
I do have that scene.
Okay, yeah, this happened definitely before. This was um they were doing that exercise, and as I mentioned, I love how the film kind of taught you things about the terminology they use and made it more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rourke ended up saying, his air hose is tangled, and Chief Sunday said foul.
Wow.
Like the term
Mm-hmm.
is foul, foul. Now get it unfouled. Carl went down to get Isert while Rourke left.
Mm-hmm.
Rourke bounced like, man, fuck this. I ain't dying for him. And we
Mm-hmm.
see Isert. I ain't built for this, bruh.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. I want to go home. The whole nine,
And he
everything.
takes his ass home.
Yep, everything that you would say in a moment of panic, he said
Mm.
it. And Carl's like, nah, fuck this. I'm about to make sure you get home. No man left behind. Changes the air hose, brought him back to safety just for Rourke to get that credit.
Crazy.
Just for Rourke to get that award. I love it's a very small moment
Mm-hmm.
at the pinning when he's getting his badge or his medal.
Mm-hmm.
Isert looks at Carl and kind of mouths, thank you.
Yeah.
And the nigga Carl just turned his head. Like, man, fuck all y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to do the right thing, but also this is bullshit. Y'all know it's bullshit. It's going to be cool. I'm accepting the fact that the only people that know what happened are the people that know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with not getting the medal. But that's what kind of leads into the next thing that you have, Rachel. Like, how dare you see me walk in with Gwen Sunday and got the nerve to speak anything to me?
No, 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 no. See, I knew he wasn't
I
right.
No, Rachel, I guarantee you for a fact. That is exactly that's the order. That's the order. It came
I'm
in.
talking, I'm talking about when Snow Hill, when Sunday dropped the ball and made.
Oh, I thought you meant the water when they were in the bar. I thought you were talking about that challenge. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad.
Now I'm like, what the fuck? I know that I got what you're talking about down the line. Okay.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm thinking you were a little bit further. My fault. Go ahead, get to your seat.
All of that. We're gonna come back and finish that.
Yeah.
My thing was Snow Hill in the water, realizing Sunday airing him out about lying about being able to hold his breath. Just because, again, we talked about Carl wanting to do the right things. So Snow Hill's underwater. 2 minutes go by. 3 minutes go by. He's up and breathing. The thing about Sunday is that he is not for the bullshit. For everything that we know about him, he knows a liar when he sees it. Essentially, he can sniff it out. You being the captain of your swim team, you knocked your wife up, you need a higher paying job, whatever. This is that, and this is not the place. Because again, this is life-saving work. This is more serious than just swimming around. Like, we really need you to be a dive expert. We need you to be able to actually do the shit that you're saying you could do. And Snow Hill couldn't. He essentially is kicked out of the program. He's still in the Navy, but he's kicked out of this particular role because of that lie. That was what I see. Just because, again, and Carl offered to help in between there. Carl
I love
offered, he
it.
wanted to help him because, again, I know what I can do. Y'all don't necessarily know what I can do just yet, but I know I can get you that ball up out that water and get you to safety. Also, after that, I have Joe, the Joe of it all, meeting her and her actually agreeing to help Carl. So before that, he goes to the library. He's failing his test because, again, I think they said he has a seventh grade, essentially, education, and that understanding the history of Jim Crow South, sharecropping, how often the children, they had 16 families back then, Black families had a whole bunch of kids because the expectation was that you will help till the land. That's it. You have to quit school because this work has to be done, or we're going to lose this little piece of house that we have, but it's all that we have. To get these barrels in for Mr. Johnny, we need all hands on deck. So no, you can't keep going to school because we actually can't afford school clothes. We can't afford books. We can't afford this and the third. Baby, you need to get to this land. We definitely ain't going to be able to afford it if the weight is off and the land ain't right. So We
Mm-hmm.
learn that he's quit school. We meet Joe. We learn that she is waiting on her MCAT score, essentially. Like, I'm only working at the library until something else shake.
Yep.
She says, I can't help you. We learned that her father was also a Navyman and probably a cook or shoe shine or whatever other facet of work that he could have done in that timeline. And we learned that he left. And so she knows her ranks. I can look at you. She thinks he disappears. But Carl, again, his determination is on 1,000. Not only did I actually not leave the library, those flowers I got on my way in, I've placed them sporadically about so you can find me later. You
Mm-hmm.
have to come see about me. I'm in here and I'm studying, and
Mm-hmm.
I need you to see that I'm serious. I'm not. She makes him promise, if I'm going to help you, you can't be out all night drinking. You have to take this serious because one, I don't fuck with y'all anyways because of my daddy. And two, you are already so far behind. I don't want to say mentally or educationally, but educationally, you know what I'm saying? There's
Mm-hmm.
so much there, there's so much ground to make up for you to even get this test. And so we know at this point, he had failed everything. And the teacher said, hey, bruh, you failed one more. It's Chop City, you're out. And how awful and what a great loss it would have been had he not met Joe and she helped him along the way to pass this test. Okay.
That's
Then
a
go ahead.
no. That's a great point. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then after that, my next scene is the Carl's
Man,
first life-saving dive.
there we go. My
There
bad. My bad. My bad.
we
Rachel,
go.
hey, if you're not watching on YouTube, Rachel was confused like a motherfucker. Like what? Like nigga, I swear that I got these notes right.
I feel like I'm in order, but
It's
here we
almost like when you my fault. I'm sorry.
go.
It's almost like when you see someone in real time thinking like, hold on, am I tripping? You
Yeah,
know you ain't tripping, but you maybe like, damn, maybe I am the one tripping.
maybe
Like,
I am tripping.
nah, my fault. Go ahead.
Rich already broke the scene down for y'all. So I don't think we need me to put too much extra sauce on there. But
Yeah.
again, the fact that Rourke still got that medal of freedom, you made a mention of Isert looking at Carl and Carl kind of looking away. The other silent we talked on, we got y'all about expression acting. Chief Sunday, Robert De Niro's character, because he knows that's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Not only you don't get to become a master chief by leaving men. You don't get to acquire earn all of these medals of honor, medals of freedom, this, that, and the third, bravery. He's decked out for leaving a man behind. In the subsequent scene, he tells the story of, is it that scene where he's telling the story about no, it is the bar where he's telling
About the pipe.
about the pipe and whichever uh
Oh,
MacArthur,
Colonel. Yeah, MacArthur. Yeah.
yeah, about MacArthur saying you need 5 minutes. And he like, okay, no, actually, if 4 minutes, he said, no, it's gonna take five, and I'm gonna do that, and I
No,
get us
no,
out of here.
that's the best part of that line. It's gonna take 5,
Yeah,
motherfucker. Like
motherfucker.
that pause before he said motherfucker was hilarious to me. Shout out to Robert De Niro.
I love Robert De Niro,
And
and he loved me back.
I was just about to say that's what makes this funny because Robert De Niro he's Robert De Niro. I mean, what
For
more can
sure.
you say? That man love him some black women, boy. Love him some black women. Shout out to Bobby D.
I was gonna say something really out of pocket. I'll say it later. I'll say it off mic. I would like for somebody to sponsor us at some point down the
Fair enough, man. Shout out to discernment. Shout out to having discernment and
line.
knowing
Is
not
the
everything. We
Mhm,
said enough entertaining shit. We can save some for ourselves. Hey,
Shout
you
out
funny
to
as hell.
Wisdom. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um, so the look that Sunday gives when Rourke is panicking When Isert, he's losing breath. So was Roar. He wasn't really losing breath or air, but he's also panicking, which is why he's prepared to leave his man down there. So
Mm-hmm.
much so that Sunday, he's not dressed, he's not equipped, but he's ready to get suited up, suited and booted to go down there because he probably more than anybody else up there knows that if they don't get to him quick and if Icer does not calm down, he's going to lose air faster.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, he's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this is essentially the third ish time we see Carl step up to save somebody. And finally, because he is fully adorned in all of the diving gear, finally, Sunday lets him go down there. He
Mm-hmm.
goes the whole time. Sunday is worried about what's going to happen because here's the reality that they then and now clearly think is that these black people don't know what the fuck they doing. I don't know what you can do. I've hazed you. You could do some running. You got up when I come in here in the middle of the night to fuck with you, but I don't exactly know what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So here Carl Brashear is. He gets down. Rourke has made his way up. The look of disgust
That's the word. Disgust.
on Sunday's face is all the things.
You disloyal, fool made, bitch ass nigga.
Exactly all of those things. The disgust was palpable. It was very clear. So thank God Carl is there and he's ready. He gets Isert's plug unfiled and they are finally able to get up to safety.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday says, I never doubted it for a minute. Howsoever, we knew good and goddamn well he was doubting like a motherfucker. So
That one like crazy.
for all of that and for Iser to leave because he said he wanted to leave and rightfully so because all it takes is a little bit of real danger to show you what you're made of. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's that one fire that gets out of control. You know what? Actually, I don't want to be a fireman. That one shootout, you know what? A policeman ain't really quite for me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to do it like that. I'm
Straight up.
cool. Don't
Yep.
worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
Trust. So at this medal pinning ceremony where Rourke is getting the award, again, the facial expressions of Robert De Niro, that look, because I know this is some bullshit. And just like everything else in my life, I got it out the mud. And here I am having to pin you because we
Mm-hmm.
simply cannot give this black man that medal. We just
Mm-hmm.
cannot do it. Even if I wanted to, we know now that Pappy ain't having it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not at
that ain't
all.
never lead a scene, you know?
Exactly.
So there's that. Okay.
Extremely, extremely, extremely well said. You're absolutely right. And just going to your point for going back to something you said for context, they didn't show this in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba Gooding Jr. said those suits take about 45 to 50 minutes to put on.
I believe that.
It's not a jump in. So to your point about Sunday was ready to go down there,
Mm-hmm.
and we see in the film like, hey man, you ain't even A, you can't do it medically, and
Yeah.
B, you don't have 45, 50 minutes to put this gear on. I'm already suited up. Let me go
Yeah.
down there and get it. Yeah, and they weigh.
Mhm.
I know the final scene; those are newer ones, but those suits weighed about 200 pounds. He said, like they ain't
Yeah.
no hoe.
Ugh,
So yeah,
my lord.
they didn't go into detail. So yeah, you got to go out. That's a lot. I actually have a lot of respect for divers anyway. But knowing you have to move around in that kind of equipment is
For
insane
sure.
and save lives, right?
Sure.
Put that shit on the line. And I don't know if we put that into context enough. Like literally, I'm willing to die for a stranger
Mm-hmm.
because this is my duty and this is what I said I was going to do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, are we both at the scene where
We in the bar?
Carl? Yeah, we in the bar.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just get into a little bit of things that bother me,
Oh, okay.
and I want to get your opinion. Shout out to Charlize. Love her. Did not need her in this movie at all. This character just was a. I don't think we needed this character. I want to know your thoughts on that.
Um, I like Gwen Sunday
Okay.
because she is the vehicle to get Carl actually inside of the bar. If we don't have his wife, what puts Carl in the bar that he's not allowed to go into as a black naval cadet?
Fair point. It's funny because I see her purpose more as she's the reason that Billy got clean.
For
Was that
sure.
to help Carl in the end. That's more of her vehicle to me. I feel like they could have written something, whether it's Snow Hill runs out, it's messed up how they did you. Rourke's in there bragging about his medal, and that pisses Carl off, and he goes in.
It's still
I
white.
don't know. I just, all right, I like it. I'll buy it because I was sitting there really trying to think. Like, I don't. This just feels a little bit too movie-ish for me. This character doesn't make the most sense to me. But if that's the vehicle, that's the only reason he goes to the bar. I'll take it.
I feel like that, and not only is she the catalyst for that, but she also is explaining to us just how fucked up Sunday's life actually is, just how fucked up he actually is. Yes, y'all see him as this big hero, but actually, he's an alcoholic too. He's forgetful as fuck. He has this wife who also is clearly off the sauce. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't want to say she humanizes him, but she does. She lets us know that beyond him having a troubled or a poor past, like that he is essentially fried outside of y'all holding him up to whatever
But
degree that you have him at.
but wouldn't one argue that we saw that when he was smacking people, nurses around with bedpans and shit, like that we knew he was like not well.
Yeah, but y'all need to see just how not well he is. And I don't,
Okay.
and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because when you were talking about the star studdiness of the cast, was Charlize Theron, Charlize in 2000?
Italian Job was. Mm, that's a great question.
Because I felt like back then she just was a regular, she was just was
Yeah,
not
she definitely
necessarily
was.
unnamed, but she was not the name that we know her as today.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I'm gonna go do a little bit of research because it's gonna
Okay.
drive me crazy if not. So Charlize Theron became who she is. I don't know how many people saw Mighty Joe Young in '98, so we won't say that. So this is right before Legend of Bagger Vance, which came out the
Hmm.
same year.
Hmm.
Um,
Another black.
15 minutes with the De Niro. I
Hmm.
don't know if anybody's seen 15 minutes. I would say something about it, but it's a big spoiler, so I won't say it, even though it came out in '01. And then you have Italian Job in '03. So she becomes who she is. Italian Job and Monster in
Hmm.
'03. That's when she became Charlize Theron. So
Right.
absolutely to your point, this is one of those. Oh, I didn't know this person was in that.
Exactly.
It's one of those moments. Yeah, she wasn't who she was. So yeah, fair. Because I was just gonna say, it's Rachel. You're so good at what you do. Because my next point that I was going to say was, couldn't you got a lesser known actor to play this role? But she was a lesser known actor. Touche, my nigga. Touche.
They in fact did. I'm not gonna say
Touche.
she was a nobody, but she was not who we know her to be at this current juncture in her career just yet.
Facts. Facts. Very, 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 very good point. I was going to mention, boy, oh boy, did she put a, you said it, Rachel. She put a battery in this nigga's back.
For sure.
She
For
put that battery in there and got him into that bar, which I guess for context, as you brilliantly pointed out, you ain't just walking in no white only bar in the Navy at that
sure.
time. You saw the reaction, which I mentioned, right? It was so egregious of Carl that the dude that knew he was undeserving of a medal stepped to him.
Yeah.
I said it earlier. Never in your life do you have to say anything to me. We
Period.
both know you. We both know you were sucking.
Period. We know
But
the
I'm still
consequences.
exactly. But I'm still so appalled that you had the balls to walk in here. That I gotta say something. He took a shot before, get that liquid courage, and everything else. Me and you, mano y mano. You've been fucking with me this whole time. What's up? What you trying to do?
Yeah.
Right? I'm better than everybody in here. I'm better than you.
Period.
What about me, Cookie? You think you're better than me? Damn right. Bet. Let's put it to the test. See, that's the thing, right? There are certain things where you can just figure it out right then and there. Like you can put this to the test right then and there. Like if we in a basketball court, you say you're better than me, check up.
Yeah.
1-on-1 right now. Let's do it. Ain't no excuses. Don't duck this smoke. We got 2 helmets right over here. We can fill them with water. We can see what's up. I'll put it all on the line. And I literally am. If I lose, I'll leave this motherfucker tonight.
Yeah.
If I win, you put Snow Hill back in diving class. And Chief Sunday being Chief Sunday, shit, I'll take that challenge every day. I'm fucking Chief Sunday. I'm a master diver. Once again, for context, there's not a lot of people walking that can say they do what I do.
For sure.
That's a different type of like bravado and swag. Like literally billions of people in this world, there's probably a handful that can say they do what I do.
Yeah.
How dare you come in here challenge me? Fair.
So you ain't doing what you was doing. That's why you're teaching and not doing. Well,
exactly.
Teaching and not doing.
Exactly. And it just shows you everything that we already knew about Carl. To even be here where he is at this point to endure what he had to.
For sure.
Shows you what you need to know. But there's also that maniacal, if it's between me and you, it ain't gonna be me. Like I'm not folding, I'm not going. I literally will die in this bar before I let you get one up on me.
Yeah.
And we saw Chief Sunday folded, man. He just can't take it.
Nose bleeding, legs going out. And look at Gwen trying to sneak out the back. Girl, you caused all of this. You caused all of this. And there's something to be said for that too.
There's a whole conversation we can say about that. A whole conversation that will turn this whole podcast left. And a lot of you out there know exactly what me and Rachel are talking about, and some of you don't.
For sure. But if you know, you fucking know. I appreciate, we saw before Carl went in there, is that he called Joe and told her to meet him. Carl's nowhere to be found. Carl was inside the bar on some bullshit that I told you I wasn't fucking with off rip. But I'm not going to leave immediately. I'm actually going to stay and make sure you cool too, because it's the heart of a woman.
And I might low key, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing. Do your thing. Let me see. Let me see what you got. See what you made of. You know what I mean?
Okay, because we could be doing all of this shit for nothing. Let's see if that's what it is. So obviously Carl wins that. Gwen sneaks out, crashes her damn car. She trying to kill herself. Because on her anniversary, Carl or Sunday isn't here doing some bar bullshit. Well, he should have been with his wife in the first damn place. Exactly what Joe ass was trying to avoid. Carl catches her. She leaves. She in a taxi. I'm out of here. Baby, please marry me.
Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby.
Shout out to Blackstreet. And shout out to the taxi driver, who I'm sure has heard many a middle of the street proposal for women trying to get the F up out of here. I love that. And obviously agreed.
I love how niggas will resort to marry me, knowing that they about to ruin that woman's life. I know that wasn't the case for Carl, but it's always funny. Because like you said, that taxi driver probably, man, you know how many drunk motherfuckers on the picked up from here? How many drunk motherfuckers have stumbled up the same hill? Marry me. Shout out to Carl, man.
I'm curious of where the black bar was.
Yeah.
Because we
know there was one. It was out base, though. I'm sure they didn't have one on base.
Of course.
I nigga Carl said, help the bear. Fuck helping me. Help the bear. Nigga, Chief Sunday ain't shit to me.
For sure. My next scene is Carl finishing the test. So you tell me if you got anything before that.
Um, the naval test to
Hmm.
become the master diver. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I have one thing before that.
Okay.
Carl and Chief Sunday after Sunday's meeting with Pappy.
Okay.
Pappy calls him in and say, "Listen, man, I don't care. There one day they might let these niggas in here, but not on my watch,
Yeah.
and that means that it's not on your watch either."
Mm.
And we've already gotten to the point of this film where we know, as I said earlier, it's not that Sunday is um, so self-righteous and such a pillar against right versus wrong. It's more
Yeah.
so a respect thing. Throughout this time, Carl's earned my respect because if we put his classmates in the same situation, they would have been folded. Matter of
Period.
fact, I've seen a couple of them fold already with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
This man's built for it, and once again, greatness identifies greatness.
For sure.
Sometimes there's some shit that other people can't see because you ain't on the same level. I
For
see
sure.
that he has what it takes. So now I'm torn because I get it. I get what era we're in. I know the travesty it would be
Mm-hmm.
for us to integrate and have this black master diver and set that standard.
Mm-hmm.
Because as Pappy said, every cook and shine is going to start thinking they can just do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday's like, nah, this nigga actually, well, not this nigga. Let me not say it like that. This man actually can do what we do.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. But caught between a rock and a hard place.
And
Um,
not just that, but doing it better than most. I think one of the key things is realizing what Sunday says in that scene. He doesn't need to do well on the written.
mhm,
He's mastered coming from flunking when they first started, being about to flunk out of master diving school to now only having to do okay on the written portion, only having to finish the physical
mhm.
portion. He's excelled, literally started from the bottom. Now he's here. All he has to do is finish.
That's all you got to do. So it's
That's it.
not, there's great point, Rachel, because Sunday's
Mhm.
looking like there's really not much sabotaging I can do.
For sure.
He's done all the heavy lifting and he's gotten better each week, right?
Mhm.
He's nice. And that's
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out to the great Jackie Robinson. Like Jackie Robinson wasn't in the majors because he was black. Jackie
Mhm.
Robinson was made because he was nice.
Mhm.
And obviously, he wasn't the only person deserving, but they didn't just give it to him because, oh, we want to be nice. We want to be helpful to the black man. Nah, he was cold with it.
For
So you
sure.
can't ignore this talent over some point. And I just love the honesty that Sunday had because I know I can't pass you. And let me
Mhm.
just make one last ditch effort. What are you laughing at? What's so funny?
I'm just thinking about one, the movie 42. I'm
Yeah,
thinking about uh old black men who played in the
yeah,
Negro Leagues.
yeah,
I'm thinking of that Jackie Robinson commentary. Go ahead.
yeah. Fair, fair. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, great point. Um, but he's in the bunk and he pulls back up that message that Carl first saw when he got there.
Mhm.
We're gonna drown you, nigga.
Yeah.
Thinking that it's from his bunkmates and realizes, oh, Sunday put that there.
Yeah.
This is just another method to discourage me. He even acknowledges, oh, I always thought it
Mhm.
was, Rourke or somebody like that. Sunday tells him, like, I'm the son of a bitch put here to get through your thick skull that some things never change.
Yeah.
Sure, you deserve it. Now, this is the most quotable movie,
Mhm.
but Sunday says something in the scene. You got fucked, Cookie. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to, bro. Like, this is life. Black or white, indifferent. You got fucked.
Mhm.
I don't know what else to tell you. You as good as they come. Probably the best I've seen out other than myself.
Yeah.
But you're not passing. Pappy is not going to let it happen. I don't know what else to tell you, right? Um, Carl bucks back. Poor choice of words. Carl, extremely poor choice of words. Carl refutes
For
and
sure.
kind of explains to him why he deserves to be there. And this nigga Sunday took that radio and broke it.
Woo!
We talked about the prized possession. This is something
Mhm.
that we've seen Carl have and hold dearly since
Mhm.
the time his father gave it to him. Right? Maybe the only thing his father's ever given
That's
him
it. And
in
understand
life.
at this point his father has now passed.
Yes, his father's now passed. Very sentimental piece, right?
Mhm.
He broke the radio. Once again, expression acting. The expression acting by Cuba Gooding Jr. when
Phenomenal.
it happens. You felt that pain. Then he
Mm-hmm.
grabbed the photo. Mm-mm, we're not about to do that.
That's it.
And he realized it. And then I love that moment he shared. He just looked at it and said, "What did he say to you
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
make you just do this?" And obviously he had the response. What did he say to you to make you try so hard? Be the best.
You're the
It was
best.
just a moment where, yeah, you're the best. I'll give you that. You are, but you ain't passing.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where you really think, all right, it's a crossroads. What's going to happen? Are you really not going to pass this man, or are you going to have some kind of moral conviction and do what needs to be done? And that leads right into your scene, Rachel, the
That's
actual
it.
test day.
And it's not even about a moral conviction. So he told Carl not to show up. Carl is a man of honor. Carl shows up. Carl is suited and booted. Divers, hat your man, let's go. The toolkit, every diver has a toolkit, essentially, and it is thrown to the ground. And they have to assemble whatever they have to assemble from this kit. Again, twice as good, half as much.
Mm-hmm.
Carl too has a toolkit that is sliced in half and open. And so every piece of equipment in the kit falls to the bottom of the sea separately. Carl is down there underwater from day to night, water going from a warm bath to below freezing temperatures. Pappy is calling down, don't bring him up. Don't bring him up till he stops moving. Essentially, kill this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Er.
RDR, capital E,
Hardy I
capital R.
kill him, shoot him. Okay. So Sunday does not agree to that, but essentially he's not letting him up. And so he's asking y'all let him up. And as soon as he's going to do that, before that, Joe shows up because you should have been done. It's all damn day, all damn night.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? Everybody, all the other sea cadets, divers have finished. They've all put their pea coats on and are out here because Carl is still underwater. Joe has shown up in the dead of night in her frock because Carl has not come home. Just when you think my man is down and out, that line, that rope tugs, and they pull the assembled machine, battery, whatever it is, from the depths of the sea. And a bruised and blued and impaled Carl, blue lips, frozen, frostbite, damn near, comes up
Shaking
out of
like a
the
stripper.
water, shaking like a stripper, comes up from the water, and Sunday has to pass him. Pappy flips the fuck out. See again, Sunday demotion for going against Pappy's rule of not finishing Carl. But again, there was no way Carl was not going to finish because of what his father said, because of what sent him. It is what it is. You cannot play me. The level of determination that this man has, it's nothing you can do with that. You either gonna give it to me or I'm gonna take it. And I'm used to taking. Here we are.
9 minutes or 9 hours, 31
Hmm.
minutes,
Yeah.
perfectly simply. Extremely well said, Rachel. I
Hmm.
don't have anything to add. I just want to point out two quick things.
Hmm.
One, I love the fact that Carl said, "Hey, I know you told me you ain't gonna pass me. I'm not going to not pass myself by not showing up."
Period.
Right? Like always show up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Regardless of how you think it's gonna go, always show up. Good reminder of that. Also, what you just said and mentioned about Sunday passing him, even though Pappy was going off on him, demoting him.
Hmm.
That is why I don't put this in that blind side category white savior film. That's why I
Okay.
don't look at it, because it's not like he was saving Carl. It was a respect.
For sure.
Blue, purple, green, yellow. I don't give a fuck if y'all like him, don't like him. This man got my respect, and I'm standing up for that. I'm not standing
That,
up for black rights, right?
that,
You know what I'm saying? I'm
that,
standing up for the fact that
that,
this man just did something that nobody else who's finished this will ever be able to do. I might question if I can do it,
that part.
and that's why that's what makes the scene and all of this believable. You broke it down perfectly. Like I don't know what to say. 9 hours 31 minutes. That's insane. It's
Yeah,
insane. But that's that perseverance. That's that drive. Um, all I have left, Rachel, really, is the last 15, 20 minutes of the film.
for sure.
Um, and it's funny. I mentioned how I haven't watched this in a long time. The
Hmm.
two core memories of this film are the scene we just talked about, and
Hmm.
also the challenge in the bar.
Yeah.
Those two scenes always. It doesn't matter how much time passes, I'm always going to remember those. But I did forget that there was a kind of a second or third act to this film, because for a while you think like, all right, then he's a Navy diving graduated, but he still hasn't accomplished his goal as a master diver. Obviously, we see that his foot gets amputated.
Hmm.
Yes, gets severed because he's trying to save another person
Hmm.
by putting other people before me. I'm not just saying the honor and it's talking about the code. I'm living this shit. Still wants to be a master diver, even though his leg has been severed. We get Billy Sunday, who was going through his own trouble and detoxing and getting dried out because he whooped Hank's ass.
Yes.
After, first of
At a
all,
New Year's event. Hmm.
you took away my diving career, and you laughing at me. You don't remember me? I bet
Hmm.
I got something for you. I got something for you. We're gonna handle this right now. Because when at this point, when you Sunday, what else I got to lose? You've literally taken my life away, my
Right.
livelihood, everything that I want to do. Um, he anonymously, they don't say it, but I'm sure it was him, sent Carl this article about a pilot and his leg amputated
Oh,
to
for
say,
sure.
hey, you report
For
back to
sure.
full duty, right? Because remember, Carl's looking at that note, trying to see return to sender, none of that.
Yeah.
And then finally they reunite, and he helps Carl pass the review board, right?
Before you get all the way there, I just want to acknowledge the fight that Carl and Joe had after
Mm.
acknowledging that he wants to return to duty, because to your point, in the midst of all of this, of Carl succeeding, we see he and Joe now have a child. Life is good. She's a doctor, he's a diver. This freak accident happens and throws everything into chaos. The big thing about him wanting to return to active and full duty, she is a doctor. Like, you're not even considering my thoughts on this. Like, I followed you around the world to take these crazy assignments or let you leave while me and my son, our son, try to figure it out while you're gone. And this is not even something that you want to have a conversation with me about. Let's be very serious. This is crazy as hell. So there's that. They essentially separate. One of my favorite little mini scenes in this is Carl training, trying to get well, and he's hopping. In the midst of this, I lost my leg and I lost my woman. The Temptations, oh, how I wish it would rain, is playing in the back. And if that is not a I miss my woman, baby, please come home, I'm fucked
Mm-hmm.
up out here as song, I don't know what is, you
It
know?
ain't.
Oh, how I wish that it would rain. Y'all can't see. I'm crying. Come on.
Such a timeless song. It's on the Mountain Rushmore. Like, baby, I miss you. I fucked
For
up.
sure.
Please take me back.
For sure. Shout out to David Ruffin. Um, Also with this, despite Sunday losing his rank in this, that, and the third, he is still Chief Billy Sunday. Just because I've lost this, the people that get it. It's just like those old head
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
people that have earned your respect and that you've been deferential to. Yes, you might have fought the captain, but unless you've truly done some fucked up shit, the people that revere you will continue to revere you despite the foolishness of it all, you know? So they essentially escape Carl from duty after, or from the hospital after Hanks is essentially trying to send him into early retirement. And Sunday is not, he doesn't do it alone. He has the help of other naval members um who fuck with him, you know. We know discretion. I relate more to him than I do to you.
Yep. Goes to what you just said, that respect thing. Hanks is talking about the new Navy, right? This is the new
Mhm.
Navy. And you saw the look on everybody, the old guard's face. Like, nah,
Yeah.
Navy is Navy. Honor is honor. Tradition is tradition. Ain't no such thing as new Navy. And Rachel and myself, there's new and there's old. Let's just put it like that. And it just is what it is. And when you understand the old and
Mhm.
you've been a part of the old, then you understand the old a little. I mean, you know how the old works. And there's just a certain respect, as you said, Rachel, that goes amongst. I'm willing to, you say you have rank. And
Mhm.
yes, you said this man can't come in, but let him stay. You did what? Ain't you who? Your rep precedes you, bro. Like, how dare you? Matter of fact, Hanks, how dare you
Keep him
leave
out.
somebody like y'all in the cold? Like,
Mhm.
right? That's
Mhm.
disrespecting this whole thing we do.
Somebody who's a pencil pusher, who, for whatever reason, yes, we know he's in the Navy. We see him at the top of the film, but he wasn't in a master diving school. So you really can't do what I do. You just a regular ass Navy member. You know, you're just no
Mm-hmm.
shade. Shout out to all the armed forces. Salute. Thanks for what you do. But
Yeah.
you you cannot speak to what it is that we do, which is crazy because we've also learned that Hanks has rewritten the rules and regulations, and you don't even know. Like, what are we talking about here? How do we
Mm-hmm.
know that this is actually better for the divers to have to stand themselves and this, that, and the third? You know, we don't know. But shout out to that. Carl, he makes his way to DC to present himself to the board, and they want to make him wait. He says, no, I'm ready right here. I have what I need. They try to keep
And
Sunday out.
I wanted to say one thing to that point,
Yeah.
Rachel. I'm pretty sure that Carl was looking at it as, I want there to be witnesses,
Hmm.
like not just of the Navy and the Naval
Yeah,
Academy, but also of the public.
for
So you
sure.
can't never play me.
For
I want people
sure.
to say, I saw that with my own two eyes. It's happening. We doing this shit right now.
That, and even if that was not just Carl's genius, we saw Sunday and the other naval officer play the press game before when they were
Mm-hmm.
showing Hank said, nah, explain to them, you know, why
Yeah.
you're doing this for this man who lost his leg for this country.
Mm-hmm.
So um they
Important note for context as well. I think we're in '68 at this point.
yeah,
So yeah, we're the country is more advanced than what it was when that sounds like an oxymoron. Um more advanced doesn't mean greatly advanced, but it's not the same country that he was living in the late
for
40s,
sure.
early 50s when he was
For
getting his
sure.
training. So yeah, there is a little bit more um, tolerance
For sure.
for a war hero, especially um, with everything the country was going through at that time. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. So Carl is suited and booted. Thankfully, Sunday is let in at this point to give Cookie his marching orders. I want to say what I gotta say without saying too much. Sometimes a little extra motivation goes
Mm-hmm.
a very long way,
Yeah,
as we can see in Carl's point. You know,
yeah,
I came, my wife is here, my estranged wife, my son is here. You know, I've sacrificed not just my leg, I've sacrificed a lot to be here and to do this. So let me do it.
yeah.
Carl is ready. He takes them first couple steps. That initial motivation is pushing them. But
Mm-hmm.
again, you're on an amputated leg, and this is a 1968 amputee. This ain't now, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So the
Absolutely.
technology, for as advanced as we are from 68, from 48 to
Yeah.
68, from 2025 to now, the technological and
Yeah.
scientific
He ain't,
advances.
he ain't even got the Lieutenant Dan. He ain't even
Exactly.
got that.
Exactly. And you put 200-ish. pounds of titanium or iron, whatever the new suit is made out of,
Copper.
copper. Shout out to the Iron
Some
Throne.
heavy shit. Some heavy shit. Yeah.
You put on this copper and are expected to take your 12 steps. You got to get these steps by any means possible. And if that means I have to revert to calling you Cookie, if I have to force you to this line to me, that's what I'm
Mhm.
going to do because I know that you can do it. If you've endured up until this point, I know that you can do this. And it got hard. And that shit is heavy. I'm on one leg. But did he do it?
He did that. And
My Lord.
as you just said, um, very well said also.
Hmm.
Chief Sunday's the only person that could
The
have
only
got
one.
him to those 12
For
steps. The
sure.
only other person, unfortunately, was his dad who
For
passed.
sure. For
I'm the
sure.
only two. Not his wife, not his son.
Hmm.
It goes back to what we've been saying all episode. Greatness recognizes greatness, which is
Hmm.
why Sunday knew exactly what to say.
Exactly.
I was just about to say the cookie. Something about the way that De Niro let that shit roll off his tongue just sounded so natural that you got to catch yourself sometimes like, yo, this is a fucked up turn. But
Yeah.
he says it like almost like an endearing nickname. I don't know,
Hmm.
whatever. Either
Hmm.
way, we know he playing him. But I know exactly what to say, like you said, Rachel, to bring this out of you and make sure I want my 12s.
Yeah.
I want that shit.
I
And
want it.
you've accomplished a lot
Hmm.
since you and I were at
Cross
training.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. I still know how to push those buttons because I see going back to what we mentioned
Hmm.
during their very first interaction. Carl told that man, I see you.
That's it.
I see the life you live. And now this is Sunday's chance to tell him, I see you as well.
That's it. That's it. And not just the seeing you of it all from life, but again, I know what was fueling your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want it so badly? They said I couldn't have it. Here I am. They said you can't have it. What you gonna
Mm-hmm.
do, Cookie?
What you gonna do?
Work. You persevere. You fight to the death, and you give me my damn 12 steps.
Give him my 12 steps. And once again, Sunday a bigot? Sure, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? He's absolutely a bigot. It's not like there was any kind of moral compass that he used. It reminds me of The Dark Knight, the Christopher
Mhm.
Nolan. There's a scene where Alfred, Michael Caine, who plays Alfred, was talking about, he told the story about the fox and the jewel and all that. He said, hey, some people just want to see the world burn. They
Mhm.
just want to do shit just to do it.
Yeah.
Chief Sunday had a little bit of that in there. Because we
Mhm.
talk about the whys of it, right? The motivation. What's
Yes.
driving you to do this? We all wanted to know that, right? You treated Carl like shit. You come back out of nowhere. Carl asked him directly, why are you doing this, Sunday? What was his response? As he's lighting his pipe. Very simple. Piss people off.
Piss people off.
So, like, that is my motive. I just want to piss people off because they played me. So it's always going to be up with them. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm always going to honor this thing, but y'all ain't giving me my respect. So if I can shake things up, I'm going to shake it. And if you're going to be the vehicle that takes it there, then that's what it is.
That's what it
So
is.
that's it. That's
Shout
it.
out to the one man on the committee, the one old man who recognized Sunday. Did you swim the English Channel or whatever he was? He said because he about got happy when Cookie started. When Cookie came back. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
anybody who has had a random flashback of a certain experience, when you hear it, no matter what, it does something to you. When you talked about shows and whatnot, and I don't want to speak too much, especially given kind of the sensitive time of a lot of events,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're at a show and you hear Invictus, there are just certain things that take you back to your own time and the perseverance that it took for you to get to where you are. And I think that's where he and some of the other naval board members felt like, man, hell yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Spit that
certain
shit. Spit
level
that
of
shit.
exactly.
Take
It's
those
a
steps.
certain level of hype that you're going to get when you get in that environment. And for all intents and purposes, Sunday had to bring that environment to DC so that we could get what we needed. Listen,
And
I love a good feel good moment after
and
after the pain.
and Rachel, the only person that didn't get it was Hanks. You ain't never done it. You ain't never you
'Cause you
don't get
ain't
it. You don't
never done
understand
it.
it.
You ain't
You
never
know what I
done it.
mean?
You might be a nope.
Yep. I
You
know.
didn't
Yep.
experience it. Uh-huh.
You didn't experience it. So you don't understand what this means to the rest of us up here. You're the
For
anomaly.
sure.
You're sitting up here.
For
And I
sure.
will just say from a cinematography standpoint, um, there is something about that scene when Carl and Sunday turn that corner and walking
Mm-hmm.
step by step. You
Yeah,
know, I get it because you just take it out of it. Like I want to see Carl win. I want to see Carl get this shit done. And
for
like I said,
sure.
regardless of his methods, give me my 12. I
Give me
want
my
my 12.
I want them.
Incredible
Period.
job, incredible acting, everything. It's like just I feel I damn near sweat after he because I feel the weight of this nigga taking these steps. I'm like,
I
come
do
on,
all
Carl,
that,
let's
but
go.
I do shed a tear every time.
Yeah, let's go, Carl. It makes you feel something. Like you
Come
take
on,
it
Carl.
personally, you don't. Come
For
on,
sure.
Carl. Like I know how it's going, man. Come on, Carl. So shout out to that, man. I said it earlier, not the most quotable movie. Do you have any quotes?
I only wrote down one thing, and this why do you want this so badly? It's because they said I couldn't have it. And that for me, along with Be the Best, just takes Carl throughout this whole movie. And we see the vigor in which he fights with for the things that they said he cannot have.
I only had two quotes. This is
Mhm.
when does deserving mean anything?
For
The
sure.
other one I already stated. You got fuck cookie happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But at some point during your life, you're gonna look around and just say, you know what, I got fucked.
For
It is
sure.
what it is.
For sure.
Interesting topic right now. Scene stupid.
Anjanou Ellis
It has to be by default.
by default.
Yeah, it kind of has to
But
be. This is more
she
of a
deserves it. Like she put on them
yes.
couple of scenes again. The scene stiller, somebody with just enough. If the scene stiller was just best actor or best supporting, then damn it, De Niro. My
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah. Smoked
being
it.
De Niro. But for the amount of scenes and what it took, again, especially in that fight, I'm giving it to Anjanou, my girl, who's been
Absolutely.
around for forever.
As you see in this, I was thinking like, damn, was this the first time I saw Ingenue? And then I'm thinking about Into Deep,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking about, I'm like, yes, like we're here. We are at 25. Where, shout out if you listen to our Black Real Award episodes. Now she's playing people's grandmas
For sure.
and moms, but she's been doing this. And you look, if you forgot,
Hmm.
which you shouldn't, but if you forgot,
Been her.
been her.
Been
That's all
her.
I'm saying. Any decade, any era.
That's
Shout out
it.
to Ingenue. You know what I mean? That's before the Taylor. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ingenue.
And even
Um,
her family name, that's not like a married name.
you said that's a family name.
Taylor, uh-huh. It's
I
her
believe
mother,
it.
it's her mother's maiden name or her mother's side of the family's name.
Yeah, I believe it. I just said that because if you remember, there was even on these credits, it's Angelou
It's just
Ellis.
Anjanou Ellis for sure.
Yeah,
I thought it
so
was
the
a married
Taylor,
name until I found that out.
I didn't even know that. You
Yeah.
just put some knowledge on
Mm.
it. Things that bother you?
Racism.
Facts. To this day.
To this day, that's it.
I mentioned Gwen Sunday, but you kind of shut that down, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
remove that. The only
Mhm.
thing that bothered me, however, goes to your point, Rachel.
Mhm.
Racism is very telling. It's the truth. When we first meet Hanks, right? The scene where he demotes Sunday because he dove in that water to save them people.
Mhm.
He's yelling at him before he jumps in the water and says, "Officer, I had two men die. I've already had two men die on my watch. I'm not about to make another. How are you still in charge? How are you writing procedures and you've had two men die on your watch? Like, what are you doing? Why are we promoting you?"
He is probably somebody's son.
Yep.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Inherited. Inherited.
We 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 talked about a come see about me moment. I don't know if it gets any more come see about me than a middle of the street proposal.
For sure.
Um, Obviously it does. It can't get deeper than that. But yeah, if you propose in the middle of the street, especially back in them days, we're gonna do what we do.
For
Any
sure.
actors from The Wire, absolutely. Glenn Turman, all right. Mary Clarence Royce in The Wire,
Yeah.
100% legend. Shout out to JD's Revenge. I tried to do JD's Revenge like a Halloween or two ago. School and Rachel weren't having it.
I don't even
Took
know
that
what that
silly.
is. So
Rachel, if you did know what it was, you would tell me get serious.
per
That's one of
usual.
those. That's one of those. That's one of those little inner workings into sometimes how the movies work. We'll just when it's our choice, we'll just send a text out doing this. I would have got y'all got it. Y'all
Oh,
got this one. I would have got one of those
y'all go
messages.
ahead.
Yeah. Um, Soundtrack, nothing real special. I will say that this film was nominated for a Grammy. Brian
Hmm.
McKnight had a song that was nominated for a Grammy. Did not win. But yeah, I don't even know what the song was, and got my own thoughts on
I
Brian
can't
McKnight
believe this
anyway.
movie did not win any awards.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Wouldn't let
That
that
is
happen to me.
insane. Yeah, I'm not doing all that shit.
No, to be a master diver.
For sure.
Yeah, I
For
don't think
sure.
I got it in me. Like, obviously, he cared about it. So maybe if there was something that I cared about that much, but
Yeah.
it really does make you think, damn, do I care about something that much?
What do I love this much?
To go through all the bullshit. Like, it's one thing to do it for a certain amount of time,
Hmm.
month or two. This is going to be my life. Like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, trivia. I just want to say this: Brazilian diver Alberto Jose, and I'm gonna mess up the rest of his name, so I don't want to be. I don't want to do that. But
Shout out to the Portuguese.
yeah, yeah. Shout out for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, we do some movie magic.
Mhm.
The Brazilian diver Alberto, he was the one. He was the only one. He was the real life snow hill.
Oh,
So it
okay.
wasn't a white man. It was a Brazilian diver that was the
Mm.
one that stayed with Brashear, supported
Of
him
course. That makes way
as the
more sense.
beginning. But
Okay.
obviously, the film said, "Nah, we met our quota.
Yeah, that makes way
We'll
more
go.
sense.
Yeah, we're
Go
gonna go ahead and put this white dude in here for a little
ahead.
bit. Once again, if you're keeping score of these white saviors
There we
thing,
go. There we go.
that's a point for white savior, right?
For sure.
Let's
For
move this
sure.
Brazilian out the way. Yeah, he was kind of replaced with a few different characters throughout the film.
Got it.
And that's really it. I kind of talked about all of the other things. Um, Carl Bashir does have like a great nephew that was in the NHL and things like that, but no other real trivia. So we get to the end of the episode, Rachel, where we rate the film.
Hmm.
The average viewer rates Men of Honor a 7.2 out of 10. Too high, too low, just right.
Too low, 8.3.
Too low, 8.1.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Men of Honor. I think you said it perfectly, Rachel. Criminally underrated.
Yeah.
Um, from an acting perspective, from a black story perspective. I hope a lot of people, part of what we do here at the Culture Garden is not only talk about our favorite movies, but hopefully introduce people to movies they've never
For
seen.
sure. For sure.
And this is one, as I said at the beginning. Yes, it's $2.99, $3.99 to rent. Pay the extra dollar to own it. Um, De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. did their thing. This is
For sure.
2000 versus them. Um, Incredible film. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we do.
Yeah.
With that being said, Rachel, always a pleasure.
Hmm.
Wouldn't do this thing with anybody else. Love you deeply. Thank you for another incredible conversation. You just eye rolled me, but it's cool.
No, I didn't.
Um,
No, I didn't. That was me batting my eyelashes. See, I'm sleepy.
okay, I
So
got
it
you.
don't look
All
as
right,
good.
I got you. I got you.
Thank
Oh
you.
shit, my fault. We didn't do our last thing. I think we know the answer. Rose bouquet, whole damn garden.
Whole damn garden. That's where I thought you were actually going.
Whole damn garden. Whole damn garden. I just looked at
Whole
that.
damn garden.
So yeah, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for supporting us. Episode 113. We
Crazy.
churning them out. We got y'all. We churning them out, man. We got a lot of content coming, a lot of good things and news and all that kind of good stuff. So we will see y'all next week.
For sure.
A much lighter episode. I can tell you right now. Rachel will
No
not be on next week's. Yeah,
soapboxes.
no soapboxes. Rachel will not be on next week's episode. It's gonna be me in school. Um, it's an Eddie Murphy movie, but it's not an Eddie Murphy movie that Rachel will want to talk about. And that's the only. We don't even give y'all hints, but that's pretty much what we'll do.
That could
So
be
it could be anything. Yeah, and it's not like Norbit or anything like that. It's trust me, it's not a low key underrated Eddie Murphy movie. It's Bowfinger. Nothing
okay.
like that. We're not doing Meet the Clumps 2, nothing. But Eddie Murphy
Man,
is, and he's a co-star in this film.
for
Awful
sure.
movie, by the way. We talk about bad sequels. I know I talk about Why Did I Get Married To, and I talk about what's the other one I hate? Think Like a Man Too.
Oh God. Yeah.
Meet the Clumps. Meet the Clumps is one of the worst sequels ever, too. Like that, like just saying that. But either way, we'll see y'all next week. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Power to the people. Peace.
Peace.